Good afternoon, cause listeners. If you are just tuning in right now, you are listening to The Hawk Hour with your host, The Hawk, from 3 to 4 p.m., only on the cause, KHS LP 106.5 FM Aberdeen. And today, I am excited to do this topic. Now, if you have stuck around with my show for a while, you have probably figured out by now that my favorite band of all time is Green Day. And last Friday, they came out with an album titled Revolution Radio. And I'm very excited because I'm going to give you guys a full review, and I'm going to be playing the album today with you guys. So, I would like to mention that some of the songs that are on this album are songs that some of you may have heard, like Bang Bang, Revolution Radio, Still Breathing, or Youngblood, or even Ordinary World. But you know what? We're going to play the whole album here, so you guys get a treat. So we are going to play the entire album, starting off with Somewhere Now, Green Day, right here on the cause, KHS LP 106.5 FM Aberdeen.
Somewhere now, I don't want to be where the future and promises ain't what it used to be. I never wanted to compromise or bargain with my soul. How did life on the wild side ever get so dull? All grown up and medicated on my own cellular waste. I put the riot in patriot, and we all die in threes. I got a scene in the middle of the road. I'm gonna take my time. kicks and I wanna start raging. I wanna dance like I'm on the video. I got a fever for violent behavior. I'm sweating bullets like I'm not a Romeo. Shoot me up to anything. I am a semi-automatic lonely boy. Give me death or give me in. Daddy's little psycho and mommy's little soldier. I testify like a lullaby of memories. Broadcasting live and it's on my radio. I got my photobomb, I got my Vietnam. I'm on the line just like anybody else. Shoot me up to anything. I am a semi-automatic lonely boy. Give me death or give me love. Broadcasting from my room and playing with my toys. I wanna be a celebrity model, the leading man in my own private drama. The hero of the hour, daddy's little psycho and mommy's little soldier.
Bang Bang and Somewhere Now, Green Day from Revolution Radio. It's the Hawk Hour with your host, The Hawk, from 3 to 4 p.m. right here on the Cause. We are talking about Revolution Radio. Now, let's review those tracks. So we started off with Somewhere Now. Somewhere Now began with a nice, smooth acoustic guitar picking style feel, and then the warm vocals of Billy Joe Armstrong to kick off the album. And then it begins as a soft-spoken acoustic melody, and then the ever gets so dull, just the drums start to kick in, and the guitars and bass, and bam! It hits you like, hey, we're Green Day, and we're punk. We're back. America, we're back. And that song, I love that it kicks into this punky, folk punk feeling, and I just love that. It had sort of a Warning feel to it, which was sort of a folk album, but not so much. I love the sound. I love it so much. It was a great song, and I think it's a great start to the album. Just a great start. And I love Billy Joe's vocals and the sounds of the guitars and the drums. I love Green Day. I love this song. Then we got Bang Bang, which was their first single released August 11th of this year. And when it was about to release, we had no idea about the new album whatsoever. All we got was the cover for the single. And some people online were able to decipher the album cover, maybe the album cover name, which was Revolution Radio, which it was. And on the day of its release, we got the album cover released, and the title and the track list released as well. And boy, was I excited. I woke up early and listened to the song, and I loved it. I have to say, Bang Bang will always be my second favorite. My first is Still Breathing, but we will get to that later on. I love Bang Bang because it's got that heavy punk feel to Green Day that we know and love. It's like it kicks you in. It gives you an adrenaline rush, and then boom, it explodes your eardrums with this rock and roll feeling. And that's what I love about Green Day. They've topped punk so much that they've become just hard, heavy rock with a bit of punk in it. And I love that. I love Green Day for that. I love that attitude. It's amazing of what they do with their music. And Bang Bang says it all. And Bang Bang is about... So what Billy Joe said in an interview was, basically he is putting himself into the mind of a shooter, and he said it was a very scary place to be, and he said it was a great song idea, but it was a scary place to be for the song. And I love the line, "Daddy's little psycho and mommy's little soldier." I love that so much. I don't know why that line just it just clicks, you know, like I feel like these two songs are a definite great start to this album, and I'm sure that you guys feel the same way. But who am I to talk? We still got 1, 2, 3, 4, about 10 more tracks to go. How about we kick it off with one of my all-time favorite songs on this, probably one of the most punk songs besides Bang Bang. This is Revolution Radio. Enjoy.
For the life that's been deleted.
try to say alone, and no one's in control.
Teach our children well, from the bottom of the well. Oh, have mercy on my soul. Hear the children sing, oh, the sick and suffering. The city of damage control. This is our way. redemption, maybe. Hurricanes, we destroyed suburbia when we were outlaws. We outlaws are forever. I found a knife by the railroad track. You took a train and you can't go back. Forever now, forever now, you'll roam.
Outlaws by Green Day, right here on the Cause, KHS 106.5. And you are listening to The Hawk Hour with your host, The Hawk, from 3 to 4 p.m. only on the Cause. And today we are reviewing Green Day's latest album, Revolution Radio. We already talked about Somewhere Now and Bang Bang. Now let's talk about Revolution Radio, Say Goodbye, and Outlaws. So, we begin with Revolution Radio. Now, the reason I said this was probably one of their most punk songs on this album besides Bang Bang is the song. So, Billy Joe Armstrong said in an interview, the idea came to him in New York 2 years ago when he ran into a Black Lives Matter protest, and before he knew it, he gotten out of his car and was walking up 8th Avenue with him screaming, "Hands up, don't shoot." He said he felt like he was on the right side of history, and it's like something is breaking in the world. A lot of the old people are dying off, and the values of the 50s generation are starting to break. And what happened in the 60s and is starting to manifest more now than it ever has before. I understand that, this is a big deal. There's no reason for all this, all psychotic matter happening, it's insane. And I understand what he's saying, he wants a revolution, he wants something to change in America for once, he wants people to just simmer down, this is 2016, not the 60s or the 50s. I mean, times have changed. We should be past this racist point. And I'm sure people should stop listening to Donald Trump. Anyways, let's continue on. Then we got a very rockin' riot song called Say Goodbye. Now, this song kind of reminds me of Holiday from American Idiot. But it feels more like a gearing up for war kind of song. Like, the drum pattern, something like that. And he said, so Billy Joe Armstrong said he was reacting to images of armored military-style vehicles in the streets of Ferguson, Missouri. And he was thinking, what country do I live in? How is this different from the Arab Spring? And one of the lines, teach your children well from the bottom of the well, is a direct reference to other current events. It's thinking of Flint, Michigan, and trying to educate your kids while they're drinking toxic wastes. Billy Joe Armstrong says you can't educate people if they're that desperate. That's exactly right. Another track that is talking about changing America and, all of this chaos happening, Then we got, and I love Say Goodbye. I love the sound of it, that it's like this really war anthem type of thing, and the the throat singing. I love that so much. It's like getting you ready to go start a riot in the streets or something like that, but don't really start a riot in the streets. Then we got the second longest song on this album titled Outlaws, which is I would qualify it as a regular rock song because it's got piano and beautiful vocals and rock guitars and stuff. It's basically a song that talks about what Billy Joe and his friends in high school used to be, and how he says, back in his old teenage punk days, they were outlaws, when they were forever young. And Billy Joe Armstrong said he was feeling nostalgic when he wrote it, thinking about when him and Mike Dirnt, the bass player, would break into cars, steal tapes and lighters and stuff like that. And the band basically sees Outlaws as a sequel of sorts to one of their old songs titled Christie Road, which was actually a railroad tracks that Billy Joe used to walk on and hang out when he was feeling lonely or desperate or depressed, or if he just wanted time to think, you know? And I feel like that's a really great song to listen to, because it's like a song that makes you feel kind of old, like, wow, this is what we used to be, you know? And like, I feel like he's also trying to say, why can't we be like this today? I mean, we're still sort of the same. I mean, we have grown up. Times have changed. And, you know, this is a song that says, like, we've grown up. You know, we've grown up from teenagers. We're adults now, you know? And I really love that message. I love all the messages in these songs, and it's really powerful. I love this album in every way possible. But you know what? Who am I to talk? Why don't you just listen to the rest of the album with me? This is one of my all-time favorite tracks on this album, Bouncing Off the Wall.
It's all that I want, and I wanna be free. I got Satan right next to me, 'cause we're all bloody freaks, and we'll give you the creeps, chasing fireflies and zeros. I'm like a child looking off on the horizon. I'm like an ambulance that's turning on the sirens. Oh, I'm still alive. I'm like a soldier coming home for the first time. I dodged a bullet and I walked across a landmine. Oh, I'm still alive. Am I bleeding? Am I bleeding from the storm? Just shine a light into the wreckage so far away, away. 'Cause I'm still breathing. 'Cause I'm still breathing on my own. My head's above the rain and roses, making my way away. 'Cause I'm still breathing. 'Cause I'm still breathing on my own. My head's above the rain and roses, making my way away. My way to you. was last time. Oh, I'm still alive. I'm like a son that was raised without a father. I'm like a mother barely keeping it together. Oh, I'm still alive. Am I bleeding? Am I bleeding from the storm? To shine a light into the wreckage so far away, away. 'Cause I'm still breathing. 'Cause I'm still breathing on my own. My head's above the rain and roses, making my way away. 'Cause I'm still breathing. 'Cause I'm still breathing on my own. My head's above the rain and roses, making my way away, away. As I walk down on the ledge, are you scared to death to live? I've been running all my life just to find a home that's for the restless and the truth that's in the message, making my way away, away. 'Cause I'm still breathing. 'Cause I'm still breathing on my own. My head's above the rain and roses, making my way away. 'Cause I'm still breathing. 'Cause I'm still breathing on my own. My head's above the rain and roses, making my way away. 'Cause I'm still breathing. 'Cause I'm still breathing on my own. My head's above the rain and roses, making my way away. My way to you. Young blood, young blood, young blood. She's my little young blood. Young blood, young blood, young blood. Bloodstruck in young blood. She's a loner, not a stoner. Bleeding heart and the soul of Miss Teresa. Supernova, cherry cola. She's a cedar in the trees of Minnesota. I'm a rough boy, round the edges, getting drunk and falling into hedges. She's my weakness, genius. Swear to God that I'm not even superstitious. Young blood, young blood, young blood. She's my little young blood. Young blood, young blood, young blood. Bloodstruck in young blood. I wanna hold you like a gun. We'll shoot the moon into the sun. Alright, alright. Are you stranded, like I'm stranded? Do you wanna watch the world fall to pieces? Are you broken, like I'm broken? Are you restless? She said, "F you, I'm from Oakland." Young blood, young blood, young blood. She's my little young blood. Young blood, young blood, young blood. Bloodstruck in young blood.
Bouncing Off the Wall, Still Breathing, and Youngblood, right here on the Cause, KHS 106.5 FM Aberdeen. You're listening to The Hawk Hour with your host, The Hawk, from 3 to 4 p.m. only on the Cause. Today we are reviewing Revolution Radio, the newest Green Day album, came out last Friday. We already reviewed Somewhere Now, Bang Bang, Revolution Radio, Say Goodbye, and Outlaws. Now, we're talking about Bouncing Off the Wall, Still Breathing, and Youngblood. Start us off, we got Bouncing Off the Wall, okay. So Bouncing Off the Wall was originally going to be titled Concrete Dream, and one of the last tracks to be added to the album. And I would like to say that this one has a really fun, semi-tossed-off feel. And it's a really good punk song. It kind of sounds like Know Your Enemy a little bit, the guitar pattern, and I really love the sound of it. And one thing that always... Okay, so I have a story to tell you guys. I was listening to this song just after I watched the first presidential debate between Trump and Clinton, and I was thinking to myself, yeah, two candidates I don't want to vote for, but nobody wants to vote for, but everyone's going insane, and everyone's just bouncing off the wall. And then that's kind of what I think of. Every time I hear the song, I think of the presidential debate, you know? And I love this song so much. It's got a really good, like, political feel to it, if you, like, think about it, basically. Then we got my favorite song on here. I'm going to talk a little bit long about this one. Still Breathing. Now, ever since I heard this song, it pulled at my heartstrings. It has given me misty eyes. This song, man, this song is my favorite song. And I love the lines. So if you listen to the lines, after each part he says, "I'm still alive." And after hearing all these bad things, like, I dodged a bullet and I walked across a landmine, I'm still alive, or I'm like a junkie tying off for the last time. You know, I think basically I know what he's saying. He's saying that through all the hardships in life and the obstacles that you'll cross, you will always get past them. Be thankful that you're still alive today. And I would like to point out another thing that so the lines when it says I'm like a junkie tying off for the last time, I'm like a loser that's betting on its last dime. I feel like that's not only about other people, I feel like that's also about Billy. Now, Billy Joe did not do heroin. He did drugs like, you know, marijuana, alcohol. He even had a pill addiction for a while. But he never did heroin. But I feel like when he says junkie, I feel like, and betting on his last dime, I feel like that's him talking about his past drug abuse self, in which he would spend, like, basically every last dime in his pocket on these drugs that never got him anywhere. And if you're not familiar, about 4 years ago, Billy Joe freaked out at the iHeartRadio Music Festival, and he was insanely drunk, and that's pretty much where his rehabilitation kicked off. And ever since then, he has been clean and sober of drugs and alcohol, and I feel like it's a better turn, not just for him, but for the band and for the fans as well, and their families. Still Breathing is one of my all-time favorite songs, and another part in the song that gets to me is when he says, "I'm like a son that was raised without a father." And I'm going to try not to cry right now. So, if you're a big Green Day fan like me, you know that Billy Joe lost his father when he was 10 years old, and the song Wake Me Up When September Ends explains it all. That is what Billy Joe said, because his father passed away in September, and he ran into his room crying, and his mom knocked on the door and tried to get him out, and all he did was say, "Wake me up when September ends." And that's a very heartfelt song for me, as well as this, and that's why this song is very passionate and personal to me. And all I can say with that is I support Billy Joe Armstrong and what he does, and I'm glad that out of all the famous people in the world, this band has helped, like, their main man, like, clean up, and that's just amazing to see rock stars, do that. Okay, I'm not going to lead you on. We're going to talk about Youngblood. Youngblood is, I love the power anthem of this, as a power love anthem that he dedicated to his wife of 22 years, Adrienne Armstrong. I love the little love lines in there, like, I want to hold you like a gun, we'll shoot the moon into the sun. And what Billy Joe says is, she's easy to write about because she's so awesome. She's the cedar in the trees in Minnesota. And I love these songs, like the love songs that he dedicates to her, like When It's Time and Last Night on Earth. And he's, like, him and Adrienne are, like, really adorable together. Like, I can never see them separating. They're, like, the perfect couple. I love them so much, and that's one of my all-time favorite songs on here. It's like a power punk anthem. But, I feel like I've talked a little bit too much, so we're going to continue on, starting off with Too Dumb to Die.
To die. My daddy always was on strike, going up with the Teamsters. He said that everything will be alright. Not every Sunday can be Easter. The picket line scream, don't cross the line because you'll be a scam, not a martyr. Looking for a cause. Well, all I got was camouflage. I'm hanging on a dream. It's too dumb to die. I feel like a cello lost somewhere over the rainbow. Way up high, too scared to dream, but too dumb to. Looking for a cause. Well, all I got was camouflage. I'm hanging on a dream. It's too dumb to die. I feel like a cello lost somewhere over the rainbow. Way up high, too scared to dream, but too dumb to die.
What good is love and peace on earth when it's exclusive? Where's the truth in the written word? If no one reads
in troubled times. We live in troubled times. What part of history we learn when it's repeated? Some things we'll never overcome if we don't seek running late to somewhere now that I don't want to be. When the future and promises ain't what it used to be. I never wanted to compromise or bargain with my soul. Out in life on the wild side, ever get so full? Where can I find the city of shining light in an ordinary world? How can I leave a buried treasure behind in an ordinary world? The days into years roll by. It's where that I live until I die. Ordinary world. What would you wish if you saw a shooting star in an ordinary world? I'd walk to the end of the earth and afar in an
Ordinary World, Green Day, right here on the Cause, KHS 106.5 FM Aberdeen. And yes, that is the last track of the album. If you stuck around, we just listened to Revolution Radio by Green Day. I love this album so much, but I'm going to give a full album review after I talk about the other tracks. So, after Youngblood came Too Dumb to Die. Now, Too Dumb to Die, it begins very melodic, sort of like Somewhere Now, and then it cuts into this, heavy punk anthem. And I love how Billy Joe goes back to his teenage days, where he goes, I was a high school atom bomb going off on the weekends. And he said, I love that. Like, he talks about his childhood and, and I love the line, I'm hanging on a dream that's too dumb to die. That song is one of my all-time favorites. I love the sound of it. It's punk, That's what makes Green Day Green Day. Next up, we got Troubled Times. So basically, this is what Billy Joe has to say about it. He says, I wish saying we live in troubled times was a cliche, but it's not. Trump is preying on people's fears, anger, and desperation. He's basically feeding meat to hungry dogs. And I have to say, that is correct, Mr. Armstrong. That is correct. Trump is feeding meat to hungry dogs, his supporters. And I have to say, we do live in troubled times. And I think this album says we live in troubled times enough that, it's like think about all the racism that's going on and the hatred towards everybody. Troubled times. That's what it sounds like to me. Then we get into this long song, this long anthem, punk, rock, everything. Forever Now. It begins with a line, my name is Billy, and I'm freaking out. And Billy Joe says, the most honest line I've ever written. And it ends in the refrain, I ain't gonna stand in line no more. And he says it's like a slogan for a demonstration. Like, I'm not going to accept the status quo, or I'm not going to be manipulated. It's like, what do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. The song began basically as 3 unrelated pieces that he jammed together. And the pieces were, they were divided into 3 sections, sort of how, like, Homecoming was on American Idiot, as well as Jesus of Suburbia. Same thing with, another song on Trey. And he said it was really hard, but at the end, when we bring in that big chorus where everything is overlapping with each other and heading back into that riff, he says it was just freaking beautiful. And the drummer, Trey Cool, added, I saw this song change so many times, and the cool thing is that Billy didn't force anything. He just let it happen, and he kept trying different stuff. And then there was this one aha moment where he was like, I think I got it. And it was awesome. There were goosebumps in the room. And this song gives me goosebumps. I think my favorite lines in this song are, my name is Billy and I'm freaking out. I want a better way to die. It's like you'd rather live a good life instead of dying depressed, You want a better way to die. A happy, something like that. Like old age. That's a better way because you're saying you've lived your life, I love the line, I never learned to read or write so well, but I can play the guitar until it hurts like hell. That's basically saying, hey, to all the people that said I can't read or write well, I can shred on guitar, so joke's on you. And I just love this song. And I love that the last section kicks back to Somewhere Now, and if you listen closely, there's a small lyric change. So it says in Somewhere Now, it says, how did the life on the wild side ever get so dull? In Forever Now, he said, how did the life on the wild side ever get so full? And I just love that they end with that, and then the small little finger picking of the riff to end that. And I love that so much. This song is amazing. And then I think it ends perfectly with Ordinary World. At first, I felt like it didn't fit the record that much, but then I listened to the whole album again, and I feel like it was a perfect end, a softer end, such as, What's Her Name on American Idiot, kind of softer. But this one is full on acoustic, and it's a kind of a love ballad. But Billy Joe wrote this for his upcoming movie of the same name, Ordinary World, originally titled Geezer. The film is about, well, I've talked about it before. The film is about a failed punk rocker he turned family man, and he's turning 40, and he's kind of regretting it. And his family forgets his own birthday, so his friend gives him money to throw a huge punk party. And I can't wait to go see it. It's coming out really soon, and I can't wait to go see it. And he said one of the directors of the movie asked him for a song that his character might have written. Well, it took him a couple tries, surprisingly, but he ended up with a song so strong that he wanted it on Revolution Radio as well. And the final line gives the album a happy ending. Baby, I don't have much, but what we have is more than enough. Ordinary World. And I love that. It's a gently chiming electric guitar while acoustic strumming and beautiful, sweet as honey vocals. And I love that song. And now, before I go, I would like to talk about this album for just a couple minutes. I know that we're really late on time, but I don't care. This album is definitely become one of my top favorites of every album I've listened to. This is one of my top favorites. It's describing America nowadays, and I love it so much. This album's perfect. It's what a Green Day fan wants, and I can't wait to see them live someday, and I can't wait to meet Green Day hopefully someday. This album shows that they are still they are still punk, and they are still rockin'. And they're in their mid-40s right now, and they are still rockin'. I swear to God, Billy Joe is a vampire. He never ages. That man never ages. I need to know his secret. But you know what, guys? That is all I have for you today. Thank you all for listening to the Hawk Hour on The Cause. Tune in every day, Monday through Friday. There will be no show or morning news tomorrow because we are going to the EMP. So, Monday through Friday, 3 to 4 p.m. on The Cause, and 7:50 or 7 o'clock to 7:50 a.m. for the morning show and the news with the Extra Cause crew. Thank you all for listening to Green Day's Revolution Radio with me. Please pick yourself up a copy anywhere, Target, Walmart, even online. Buy the merchandise and listen to Green Day. I hope that you are as much a fan as I am right now. And check out their old stuff too. It's definitely worth a listen. Thank you all for listening. This is one of my all-time favorite albums. All right, guys, that pretty much wraps it up. So, thank you all for listening to the Hawk Hour on The Cause, 106.5 FM Aberdeen. See you later.
Nirvana, Linkin Park,